like to call the caucus to order for May 20th at 6:55. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. Yep. Look at your agenda, you will see that we have a public hearing for the tax budget. That will be asking if anyone has any input to the ordinance 215-27, and that's for public. Beyond that, we have two addendums. That's approving the minutes for both the 15th of this May 6th and April 15th. Right. We do have a couple of reports, and we also have a special event tonight. Yeah, yes. We have a young person that Linda is going to be talking to us about. We only have two pieces of legislation on this evening, and that is the 2015-21, which is the what we were waiting for from the auditors, and it's on a second reading. I don't think that we have any need to pass it tonight unless you think that we could pass it on emergency. Any ideas, Council?
Wait till the third reading, please.
I can't hear you.
Wait till the third reading.
Okay, all right, that's fine. And then the next one is 2015-22, and that is the tax budget that had to go down to the auditors as well, and that is the first reading. That, I'm sorry, 27, okay. Okay, mine said 22, yours said 27. Okay, and this could probably be a first reading unless we want to pass this and just send it down.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Brownlee?
I had a question regarding 2015-27 tax budget.
Go ahead.
In looking at the numbers to be submitted to the county on page 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting on page 4, statement of fund activity and the tax budget. It lists in the first column each fund, and the second column says beginning estimate, estimated unencumbered fund balance. In comparing these numbers to the numbers that we were given in March, they don't line up. If you look on the next page where it sums all of the first column, it shows it's 264,000. Yet in the amended official certificate prepared by Ms. Kroll in March, the number is actually 1,400,000, if I have it correct here. So I was wondering why there was a discrepancy between the beginning balance of 2016 and the proposed ending balance of 2015.
You are aware that these are all estimates.
Oh, this was an estimate too from March. There's over $1 million difference. I'm wondering why that was. Perhaps the finance director could address that.
I can if I know exactly where you're reading from.
Right. The statement of fund activity, the total, says negative 264,000. Whereas here in the amended official certificate that was prepared on March 23rd, it lists the ending balance for 2015 to be 1.4 million.
I'm not sure which number. I need to see.
Yeah, I'll just...
Let me just say this. This is a projection for 15 for 16. So it is not going to be exactly as it was for 15. I mean, we had 5 months of activity, things have changed, so we make adjustments. That's the whole purpose in sending this in, is to make the adjustments. But the number you're referring to, Nancy, you're referring to.
Right, this was the, this came with the budget preparation on March 23rd.
Okay, but I still don't know which number you're referring to.
This is the total ending fund balance for 2015. Here you have it summed to 1.4 million.
All right.
Well, that ending fund balance for 2015, I would assume would correspond to the beginning fund balance of 2016.
No, it would not correspond. As I said, this is the budget that was prepared for 15. Any changes that have come during the year will be reflected in the 16.
But we appropriate that amount of money, so there shouldn't be any changes yet.
There will be changes. Like I say, this is a budget, and it's a budget at that time with a snapshot. The numbers you're looking at, if you were, since you're comparing the bottom, you also need to compare the horizontal numbers, and you'll be able to see where the changes are. If you look at them horizontally, you have the same funds as you do on this document. And for example, like the trust and agency fund, if you look at that, which is number 736, you'll see that that number has been changed from, is now projected to have an $800,000 balance because we're going to get the payments out of that line.
But we haven't changed our appropriations. Shouldn't we be changing our appropriations? We're changing the amount of money we're spending.
No.
Well, you're proposing to increase the amount of money. You're saying that's going to happen, but we haven't approved an increase in money.
Well, we're talking in general. I think your statement, your statements are misleading because you're not referring to what you're doing at this time. You're looking at a document that was prepared for 2015 back in April or March. We prepared that document. The whole purpose, if the numbers didn't change, there would be no need to send in another budget.
They've changed by $1.7 million.
Yes, if you go down the list, instead of looking horizontal, you can see where they changed. And if you start at the very first column, as you referred, read it horizontal, and go down each fund, you will see what they changed.
No, these aren't changes. This is revenue. Property tax revenue, other sources revenue, total resources available. We're talking about the beginning funding balance. You're saying that January 1st, 2016.
Column 2 or column 7, because you're speaking of
We're talking about column 2. Column number 2 has a Roman numeral 2 at the top. It says beginning estimated unencumbered fund balance. That's column number 2. You totaled it up to be negative $264,000. 2 months ago, you projected that we would end the year with a positive balance of $1.4 million.
And you're looking at bottom line.
Of course, we're looking at bottom line.
Well, you have to remember that this budget encompasses special projects, it encompasses the general fund, and all activities.
So did our appropriations.
Ms. Bradley, I'm not sure what your question is. This is a budget that was prepared based on what we have now. That was a budget prepared on based on what we have.
All you have now, Ms. Kroll, is our appropriations, what were passed 2 months ago, which stated, whenever all was said and done, we were going to have $1.4 million remaining at the end of this year. Now, suddenly, 2 months later, you're saying we're going to have a negative fund balance of $260,000. That's what you're projecting. That's what you're telling the Budget Commission with this document. Why have you changed it by $1.7 million?
As I stated, if you look at the trust fund, for example, if you look at the individual funds, you can see what the changes are. The biggest change was in the escrow fund because we paid out quite a bit of escrow money, so we're not projecting to have that balance at the end of the year. This is the balance that we're projecting now. And then also there's been some changes in terms of the revenue that is projected for this year. For example, if you look down each one of them, what you have to do, and I don't know if you want to have a special session to go through that, or if you want to sit here and do it, but it's very simple, as you said, if you look at each line by the fund, You can see exactly where those things is at.
Right, so why is the general fund, we're projecting to have $100,000 less? Why, have we increased our spending by $100,000? Is our revenue decreased by
The
$100,000?
revenue decrease. For example, in the general fund, we have projected some cell tower revenue, which is a one-time, we won't have that this year. We also projected the camera revenue is not projected this time. So that's what I'm saying, that the revenue.
So the plans originally were faulty, the revenue estimate was faulty?
No, they were not faulty. Those were the estimates that we had.
You just said they were faulty.
I did not, he said they were
Councilman.
faulty. I never said they were faulty.
You said that you projected revenue from cameras and revenue from cell towers, and that is not going to happen, so then it was faulty.
It was not faulty. We knew that that was a one-time expense.
Then why was it in our estimate that you gave us in March?
Councilman Brownlee, I think
The
you're...
estimate that you were given in March included the revenue for 2015. In 2015, we did project, and we still do, and plan to receive it.
We're talking about 2015 the whole time here. We're talking about 2000, that's all we're talking about, 2015. We're talking about the ending balance of 2015, which we were told in March.
Mr. Brownlee, you're done. You might...
Why am I done, Madam Chair?
Because you need to have a private conversation and not do the accusations and the debate that you're doing here.
Does no one else
It's
care
not just
that
a
we're off
question.
$1.6 million?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
You can believe what you want, but the documents say there's a $1.6 million difference between what we were told in March and what is proposed in this tax budget here in May.
And I believe that our finance director has been trying to explain that to you, but you seem to be stuck on your personal points.
Madam Chair, if you don't care, then feel free to move on.
Thank you. This will be a first reading, and Irene, give us the date when this has to be totally completed and done.
It has to be, it is completed. It has
Well,
to
I
be
realize
submitted
that.
on this platform. It has to be approved by this body by July the 15th. It has to be received by the Budget Commission by July 20th.
Okay, are we clear on that, council? It has to be approved by July 15th. Thank you. Turn to your expenditures over $1,000, please. Are there any questions? Any questions? Okay, are there any announcements or concerns before we end this caucus this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, about the minutes.
Mr. Brownlee?
If we look at the May 6th minutes on page 4, under legislation, we have some things out of order here. Resolution 2015-14 was considered second, not first. So I would suggest for a motion to amend that, to move the portion referring to Resolution 2015-14 to after the portion discussing 2015-19.
Okay. If that's important, go ahead. You can do that at that time. Okay. We also have another thing here. We also have council reports, and I'm going to ask you once again to be focused and to the point with those reports. And with that, we'll adjourn caucus at 6:50. And you're welcome to roam the room. Council meeting will begin at 7 p.m. promptly.